They did whatever they wanted to us.
Journalist Victor Malarek spent 2 years interviewing traffickers and their victims.
People have said to me, well, these girls can run. They can't. They're taken to these apartments and these houses, usually in remote areas, and men come in and break them. And they make her submit to every indignity in front of all the girls, and they beat her and do whatever. And all the other girls fall right into line.
Back at the port of Odessa a few days later, Olga's business is done. The Ukrainian Secret Service says she'll soon return here with a new group of recruits. Officials estimate that hundreds of thousands of women have been trafficked from Ukraine since the fall of the Soviet Union. So many that an office has been set up right at the port to help the victims. Today it's visited by Virel, a man who says his wife was sold into the sex trade.
Когда она выехала?
Она выехала 12 июня из Одессы на теплоходе на Каледонии.
Trafficked on the same ship as Anya and Katerina, her name is Katya.
И жена ваша уехала, я знаю, беременная.
Да.
Какой срок?
Уже почти 5 месяцев, где-то 4,5, где-то так. Ну да, месяц уже почти пришел.
Она одна уехала?
С ним приехала, с Владом.
А она уехала с Владом? Кто такой Влад?
Знакомый, который продал мою жену.
Katya and Virel met in Odessa, where Virel worked as a bartender. Her nightmare began when an acquaintance of theirs offered to take her to Turkey, where she could buy goods cheaply for her mother's market stall back home.
Basically, an acquaintance of theirs had told him that he was going to Turkey anyway, so he might as well accompany Katya, and he speaks Turkish, and he could just help her and watch over her. And a week after they left for Turkey, Virel got a phone call from this gentleman, Vlad, saying that he had sold his wife for $1,000.
For Katya, I was paid $1,000. That's how they priced Katya at the time.
He said, "I've sold your wife." I immediately realized that I shouldn't jump on him. Otherwise, he'd disappear. Like, he wouldn't give me his telephone number, and I would never find him or my wife. I spoke to him nicely.
Why did I phone him? To say that I felt guilty might sound absurd after what I did. However, strange as it may seem, guilt played its part.
Vlad decided to help Virel after learning that the woman he sold Katya to had then resold her to a notoriously violent pimp called Apo.
Apo is a person without a shred of human decency. He has no principles whatsoever. At times he can be very cruel.
Vlad gave Virel the phone number for Apo, and Virel called, pretending to be Katya's original trafficker.
I called Apo and negotiated with him directly to buy her back. I asked him, "What do you want? Girls or money?" And he said, "Money."
Katya was being held in Antalya, Turkey, a tourist town on the Mediterranean. Virel set up a meeting with Apo at the airport to buy Katya back. He then went to the Turkish police.
They stationed police everywhere in order to nab him. Then I called Apo, and he came.
When they start talking to each other, I understand something went wrong, and either Apo saw a police officer or somebody blew a whistle. Apo got very suspicious, and he jumped in the car and took off.
And that was it. Apo no longer trusted VRL. Apo assumed that he was being framed by VRL and that VRL had called the police.
VRL now feels that informing the police was a grave mistake.
What can you think of the Turkish police? There were 60 officers involved in a guarded airport with only one entrance and one exit. There's a checkpoint and tons of police, and they let Apo slip away. I'll do anything to get her out of there. Whatever it takes, I don't care. I'd sell my f***ing organs.
Katya's journey into the hands of one of Turkey's most violent sex traffickers began in Moldova, a nation wedged between Romania and Ukraine. Moldova is perhaps the poorest country in Europe. 80% of the population lives below the poverty line. Tiraspol, its second largest city, is a haven for traffickers in arms, drugs, and people. It is also Katya's hometown.
I pushed her to go to Turkey so we could make some money. Some people do manage to make money. It's probably my fault because I encouraged her to go.
When Katya left here a month earlier, her 5-year-old son Ruslan stayed behind with her mother.
Here I am with her 5-year-old child, and I'm 60. I told him that she went to work. What else can I tell a child? That his mother was sold? Imagine. He keeps crying all the time and asking why it's taking her so long to come back. What can I say to him? He's so little. Where's my mama? Where's my mama? What can I tell him?
Katya didn't suspect what kind of plans I had for her in Turkey. How could she suspect? My plan was to keep her in the dark. Katya ended up in a place where I didn't want her to be.
Though one of the smallest countries in Eastern Europe, Moldova has become a leading exporter of women and girls into the global sex trade. Posing as buyers and wearing hidden shirt cameras, the crew set out to see how pervasive human trafficking has become here.
I had a business card that said exotic entertainment. I pretended I was a guy from the West who's interested in buying Eastern European girls. From the get-go, it was very plain and simple. Can I buy girls from you? Yes. How much?
Платят 500 часов. Это не я получаю. Ну, платят побольше, а я еще посреднику оставляю. Понимаешь, тот человек, который меня отправляет, делает документы.
She got very excited because there she had a brand new opportunity to start selling girls to North America.
Я потом встречаюсь с людьми. Если, допустим, вижу, что она, допустим, вам подойдет по возрасту там и так далее, по внешности, так, шрамов что-то не будет, да, ничего не будет. А если, допустим, вот как, ну вот этот...
Аппендицит, что ли?
Аппендицит, да. С аппендицитом у меня берут. Я не знаю, я поэтому спрашиваю, я должна все узнать.
Посмотреть девчонок можно будет?
Обязательно. Я сначала сама, я посмотрю, если она вам подойдет, значит, я тут же звоню, приезжаете, смотрите сами. Я же вам не буду каталогички давать, правильно? Я правильно говорю?
So the next step for her is to find those kind of girls for me.
Newspaper ads are often used by recruiters. Some women understand their code for sex work, but a good percentage are fooled by the traffickers.
70% of the girls know exactly where they're going and what they're going for. 20% of them agree to be exotic dancers, but often don't suspect what else might happen to them, and the remaining 10% are totally unaware. In other words, they are brought there under false pretenses.